Hello, welcome to TYT, Tune Your Tactics, on Friday afternoon, the last show in
for longer period.
Yeah, for
longer summer break, as we call it.
And today we're going to look at beautiful winning moves. I don't know what is beauty in chess. To some, I don't know, some patterns, some
unexpected moves,
geometrical motives, all stuff like that. I mean, beautiful is a very personal thing. In this position, black is to play, and black played h5. Black played h5, and the question here is, what was his idea after white's move, knight takes h5? And to me, the continuation is very beautiful. It's a motive which I don't think I've ever seen that in practice, or even in my exercises for the tactics section. So it's a very rare motive, and I find it very, very beautiful indeed, and I hope you like it too. h5, knight takes h5. After that, it's black to play and win. You know that you can always pause. If you watch this show in the archive, you can always pause and take your time to think. It's always we want you to find the solution, not just go through
and
it. But
maybe we can give a hint.
Yeah, we will definitely.
In saying whether there's something general.
Yeah.
Make sure to understand the consequences these both moves from black and white have on the further position. So if the knight moves away from its square, what consequences does that have in the position? And you can do that for every position. So when something moves, it, for example, if pawn moves, something is not protected anymore, for example. There's more space, and so on. And the consequences in this position are what we have to see, and then to have a look what we can do about it.
Yeah. h5, knight h5. The knight on h5 is unprotected. Maybe this is the first point. Second point is the knight on g3 is not shielding the bishop g2 anymore, which of course is a very important defensive piece for white's king on g1. Rook g8, rook g6 is eyeing the bishop on g2. And if this bishop is under fire, look at black's bishop on b7, which is waiting to be freed by c6, c5 on the long diagonal. Indeed. So after h5, knight takes h5, I think the first natural move here is, it's indeed a natural continuation, which is rook takes g2.
Yeah. Sacrifice?
The sacrifice. Okay, let's just play h5, knight h5. Okay, one idea might be c5, but here the knight can simply go back. So this is nothing. So rook takes g2, king takes g2. And what have we achieved? We have made this king on g2 extremely vulnerable on the light squares. Look at this long diagonal. So it's very vulnerable here. We have a black queen waiting to occupy a light square. And this, I think, now comes the double exclamation mark move. Now we see the point of this sacrifice, rook g2. And we have basically we have three attacking targets in this position. The king on g2 is the first one. The second one, also obvious, I think, is this knight on h5, which is not protected. But the last target is, I think, very difficult to spot.
Yeah.
And it is this queen on a4. And the queen, rarely, I mean the queen on a4 is hardly ever something you can really attack. I mean, how can this queen on a4 be attacked by a black piece? Well, b5 is possible, of course. But here comes really stunning continuation by black. First idea might be to go queen d5 or c5 immediately. But then white simply goes f3 and is more or less fine. But the trick here is to play queen e8.
X-raying queen and X-raying the queen and attacking the knight, also threatening to go into the g file.
This is the threat. c5 check would win the white queen. So white has nothing better than to remove the queen, and then black simply takes on h5 and is materially up, and wins more or less. Yeah, it wins very easily. Queen e8, a move to remember. I've never seen, I really never have seen this before. This will work on the light diagonals. Long diagonal b7 to g2, diagonal e8 to a4, and diagonal e8 to h5.
Stunning move.
Stunning, yeah. Stunning moves again. White to play. White is an exchange up, but this is in this position, in this type of position, is not necessarily a big advantage because pawns are only, well, not only on one wing, but let's say white doesn't have a passer on the queen side, and white doesn't have a queen side pawn anymore. So black has one pawn for the exchange. Black is very stable on the dark squares, and in fact black is very stable about everywhere because he's a very active queen on a5, which can attack this bishop. Which, speaking of this bishop c4 is a bad bishop. Yet.
Can change.
It can change. And also, if you look at black's king on h7, it looks pretty safe there on h7, I guess. So, and black still has this bishop on d4. I mean, it's a tremendous piece. Still, white had a very, very good idea here, very clever idea. And I think after 3 moves, it was actually game over. And you spotted the idea right away.
Yeah, but first of all, you have to think about the whole position, and you see that white's queen is perfectly placed. The rook can be activated on this diagonal.
Lovely, it's a file.
Yeah, and a file diagonal on this file. The only piece which doesn't play a role at the moment is that bishop. Yeah. And normally it's okay. What's the worst piece in the position, and you try to improve it. Yeah. So the only way to improve it might maybe give it a try on a new diagonal, but if this whole diagonal would be free, it would be perfect. And thus, one idea can be is just to move these both pawns, sacrificing them, and maybe
to open the diagonal. Okay, the problem is, of course, if you play, say, bishop d3, and then you want to play e5 and f6 with a discovered check, then bishop d3 gives black time to, for example, close this diagonal. You can play f6 is possible. Bishop e5 is a very reasonable move. Stuff like that. So bishop d3 is too slow, and the way white played was very good. He played e5 in this position. Straight away. Black took with the bishop. Okay, he can play other things, but if white is allowed, for example, to play e6, of course that this tremendously improves his position. To play e6 and then possibly f6 as well. Bishop takes e5, and now comes the point. And I would say e5 deserves 1 or 2 exclamation marks, I don't know, but the follow-up is a very, very splendid thing here. Bishop takes e5. And now, I mean, what can happen to black's king on h7? It still looks very safe, doesn't it?
Yep.
Because one might think that the f pawn is pinned on this diagonal because black has a bishop on d7. So what's white's follow-up here? Bishop d3, then black can play almost everything. Bishop f6, for example, is a move then.
So
what do you do here? And the thing Rapport, of course, is a very extremely creative player.
He played f6 straight away.
Yeah. And this kills black on the light squares, and it's surprising that white will start a mate attack starting from this position with bishop, rook, and 1 pawn. It's not so obvious without the queen. f6, and the main idea is, of course, main line is if black takes, then bishop goes back with a check, and look how perfectly these 3 pieces work together. White checkmates by force. Next move is rook b8. So you go here, and interpose the bishop. Rook, check, and black can only interpose here twice. Well, let's just do it. Checkmate. So let's say e5 is the one, of course. e5 is the stunner here.
Yep.
Next one?
Yeah.
Next one. This position you might know if you've been watching the show.
On a regular basis.
Yeah. We had this at the end of last year or in January. I don't remember.
I think at the end of the year.
Yeah. Because this was one of my candidates for the move of the year 2017. And I was criticized, by the way, for my choice.
For this one?
Yeah. Because some people wrote me, actually, and they said, well, how can you take, quote, so weak players?
It's not about weak players,
yeah?
Strong moves.
If you have a Carlsen versus Aronian, or they wanted to have a game by Alpha Zero, well, okay. But I liked the way White continued in this position, and I don't give a damn about ELO.
It's about beautiful moves, and if this is a beautiful move.
First look at the position is, with White you have 3 pieces on the H file, and you wanted to do something about Black's king. I think the first move to consider here is Knight F5, which is, to me, looks like the obvious attacking continuation. And if Black takes, okay, White can give perpetual check here, check, and back with the queen. But this is not the idea. White wants to win. So Knight F5, pawn takes, and now bishop takes F5. And this would be winning if Black's queen were not on C7. In this position, Black can simply play F6, protecting this pawn on H7 with the queen. And this is actually game over for White here. So this is not the way to go. But this is the first idea I think you should, or maybe even should have in this position. Knight F5 followed by bishop F5. So the question here is how to make this idea Knight F5 work. And the task here is to find a global continuation. Global meaning not you turn your eye from the king side to the center and the queen side. Global play. And what to do here? Pause this if you like.
If you watch this in the archive,
just pause here. Look at the queen side and try to do something there to help White's idea. Knight F5 on the king's side. Okay, you wanted it, and the solution is C5 here, and this is what White did. And to me, this is a very beautiful. This our title today: beautiful winning moves.
Beautiful winning moves.
This, to me, is definitely a beautiful winning move. I would award this 2 exclamation marks. C5, forking 2 pieces, so Black must react. Let's start with Queen C5, just to show the basic idea. Now the Queen has left the 7th rank.
Square.
There's no F6 anymore. So White can go Knight F5, threatening checkmate on G7, Black must take, and now White has the time to take with the bishop. And here one threat is Queen, the first threat is Queen takes H7, F6 is not possible anymore, the Queen is not on C7 anymore. So in this position, Queen takes H7 checkmate can only be parried by Rook F to E8, and this leaves the point F7 unguarded, and then we have a classical mate pattern, which you called the
seesaw.
This is a seesaw. Okay, Pascal knows a lot.
I think
he knows a lot of things I don't.
Well, there's one position in my system from Nimzowitsch, and I think he called it the seesaw, where you always give a check. Now you check with the bishop and H7, and you go back and you take a lot of pieces until the end where you mate, and that's called the seesaw.
Okay, I learned something again in this. Oh, actually, I always learn something on this show. Seesaw. This position, White does not check on H7 with the queen, but she takes on H7 with the bishop, forcing the king to go to H8, and now we have this line up, and we can go with the bishop H7 wherever we want. And in this position, the square to go to is G6, hitting this pawn on F7. Black must go here, and then we have check, king here, and checkmate. Basic pattern. So this is rules out queen takes c5, and after bishop takes c5, we need a follow-up, and white played this follow-up, actually. She saw it. She foresaw it. And, again, global play. I think rook c1 is also possible, but rook c2 is the move to go. And with a simple threat, rook takes c5, queen takes c5, and then knight f5 again. This is one idea. Deflecting the queen there, and second big idea is b4,
winning
the green one. Yeah, winning this pinned bishop on c5. And yeah, here white wins material. I think the game continuation was bishop c8. White took on c8. I think this was the continuation. b4, and black resigned after a couple of moves. c5, double exclamation mark.
Very nice move.
Yeah, a stunning winning idea in this position we see by white, and
very hard to see.
Yeah, it's very hard to see, but I'm always happy if I have positions where one of the sides actually played this move. So it's not a computer suggestion. The computer wins here with some stuff, but that white actually had this idea in the game and played it. And what do you think? Where should white? Actually, this is already a tricky question. Where should white play in this position? Should he play on the king side, or should he play on the queen side, or on the center? White has this octopus knight on d6, dominating piece on the board. And the hint I could give here, I think this position is taken from one of my tactics columns from ChessBase magazine, and the hint I gave here is, use this pawn on b6 and make it a passer. I mean, it's hitting over the head actually, but here, how can this pawn on b6 become a passer? And the solution?
Well, I think if this hint would lead my imagination to take on b7 and then try to win the a6 pawn.
Yeah, okay, but let's assume this does not work. Yeah, okay.
And then we would try to make the a pawn disappear, right? So
yeah, let's take it off. And
rook a3 and capturing on a6 next.
Yeah, just imagine you were black in this position and your opponent played rook a3. I mean, you would fall off your chair somehow. I mean, this is really I think it's really stunning, rook a3. And the thing is, rook a3, basically, it's got only one, maybe two ideas, f4 or something like that. But basically, rook a3 is a clear indication white will go rook a6 on his next move. And there's basically not too much black can do against it. Knight c8, this is possible, but this capturing on d6 is never a threat. So white retakes with either pawn and has a protected pass on d6. So game continuation was knight d5, and now white goes rook takes a6, pawn takes, and b7. And all of a sudden this b pawn has become a passer, and it's impossible, in fact, for black to stop this. Queen c7 runs into a little checky by octopus, an octopus check. So queen d8 is new main variation. Was the game continuation, and of course it's a very beautiful thing what white did here to emphasize how strong.
We've seen the Kraken knight, so let's have a
Kraken
second.
Octopus. Yeah, I think that's.
I thought you can also say Kraken.
Maybe.
I mean, Kraken is a huge octopus, right?
Oh, don't ask me, but it's many arms, in fact.
And this knight actually has many arms.
Yeah,
so.
it does. Queen h6 was the game here. Queen h6, emphasizing once again how strong this pawn actually is. This was the game here. Knight takes d8, and next move is b8, and black can resign here, and a new queen. Nice variation, by the way. If black refuses to take here, then you can make him take.
Make it happen.
Make it happen. Yeah, rook a3, stunning winning move, I think. The penultimate exercise. F6 is what black did here, and this really sets a devilish trap. F6, also counterintuitive, I think. F6, you open, you expose your own king. Just execute this. And here white took on F6, which I think white simply overlooked black's idea. And the tragedy of this game is that black actually didn't have this idea. So this is kind of a computer win, if you like. Queen takes F6, and this deserves a question mark. This is not the way to go. This actually might have lost. Queen takes F6. Here white should go knight H4, for example, knight G4, for example. This is a move to go. And then black goes Queen G6, very unclear position. Look at both kings, very exposed. But Queen F6, let's stick to the game continuation. Queen F6, and when I analyzed this game also for my tactics section, I thought, of course, that black's idea had been the winning idea, which there is in this position. Actually,
you have all these ideas with Queen H3 and activating the long diagonal from B7 to H1 somehow.
Yeah.
Maybe activating the rook on C3 or...
Yeah, you have many ideas here, but you have to make them work. And the thing is, playing F6, black has incredibly exposed his own king on G8. And white's king looks reasonably safe, but if black can manage to get a rook over to the G file, this would be very dangerous for white's king. And the game continuation here was rook C7. This loses. But in fact, black can win here by playing check on H3. And he didn't. He did not check here. He could have checked here, King G1, and now comes the winning move. Queen H3 is important because it protects this pawn on E6, which is hanging, or was hanging before.
Could have been hanging.
So, here it's black to play and win. And this is the tragedy of the game.
A second or two, then pause the video. If you watch this in the archive, pause the video and have a think. Have a think for a minute, 2, 3, even 5 minutes to find a move which...
in the last show you said 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Over.
Yeah, but only if it's an obvious move. This is by far not an obvious move. This is like a very hidden
idea, yeah?
Hidden idea, because you don't think about sacrificing temporarily a piece normally, and this is it's a stunning move.
Without the knight on E5, black would actually have a mate pattern. This is, it's a big hint, of course. The knight on E5 is both an attacking piece, white's centralized knight. It's an attacking piece because, white is threatening Queen F7, for example, but also this knight has a defensive function. It has this square G4 under control. And, if we know how important this knight on E5 actually is, we can hit on the solution. And the solution is rook D7, and black did not find this idea. He missed this, actually, played rook C7. Rook D7, the main line here is, the threat is rook G7, which is killing, and if white takes on D7, there's no control over G4 anymore, and black checkmates with 3 attackers. Bishop, B7, rook C3, and queen H3. Check here, if king here, we move over, and if the king hides on F1.
With a nice little bishop.
Another diagonal, bishop A6, and takes, go here, and just check. Can't go back, and next move is rook H3, checkmate. So this is a double exclamation mark, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, what can I say? It's a tragedy that black missed this.
What a wonderful...
Yeah, who was it? Schengelia. Imagine he plays F6 in the game and then loses. 5 or 6 moves later, or black lost. And then you come home and switch on the computer, and the computer says, you didn't see that. Oh, this is a very bitter moment for any
But
chess
you never
player.
know if there was time trouble or
Of course
anything.
not. Of course not. It's just for the black player who found the move f6 but did not find the move rook d7. It's a tragedy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay. That's it? Or last one?
Well, what we can do is we'll give a position as homework, as this will be our last show before a longer summer break.
Yeah.
We can give this...
Yeah, we must give the solution then as well here. White has just given a check here on e7 with a knight. And endgame tactics, also very important chapter, of course, with only a few pieces, but still the game is very, very complicated. The natural move here, I think, to play is king f1, because you say the king f8, sorry, because you think a king should always go to the center. But here, the problem is the move knight c8, which threatens to take here, and also, well, if the bishop moves, then you can take on a7, of course. And here, the thing is, you would love to play this move, c4. But then white can, what was it again? Take. Let me just say. Take, and then, okay. Take, if you take back, then a7 wins for white. If c3, or let's say, if this, then white goes back with a knight, has b2 under control, it's a piece up. And the last idea here, or the last point, is if black goes c3. It's almost a queen, almost. But here white has the move knight d7 check, and then he goes back knight c5 and controls the c pawn. Tactics. So the best move in this position after check is king h8, and after knight c8 you have the move c4 now. c4, and if you take, then c3 and the pawn queens. And if you don't take after c4, if you take on c4, then black goes bishop c5 and wins the game. The knight is trapped.
Total domination.
Yeah, and then you move over the king. You play f6 or f5 and then go with it. It takes a long time, in fact, but there's very little, or actually there's nothing white can do about this trapped knight on c8. Yeah, also I thought a very stunning game continuation. Rook, in this position. In any blitz game you would play king f8, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
Very beautiful winning move. For the summer break we can mention that if you haven't watched all our episodes, we have an archive full of tactical themes and subjects which you can watch. So have a look on videos.chessbase.com/tuneyourtactics, and as well what we preach here is tune your tactics. Go on the tactics server, tactics.chessbase.com, and just try it yourself. There are tons of positions which you can solve. And until then, after a longer summer break,
we'll see in September, maybe October.
September, October, we'll be back again with more material, with
new
more
ideas.
stuff.
Yeah, much better. We will be younger then and full of energy.
And while we're on a break, the Chess Elite is not. So have a look. Dortmund is starting today. Biel in 10 days with Magnus Carlsen. Sinquefield Cup in August.
Also with Carlsen.
Also with Carlsen. So have a look on the Play Chess server, watch the games, and we shall see each other soon.
Enjoy summer life and chess. Bye.
Bye-bye.